Hey guys, how's it going? We're going back into Nightingale. I've become obsessed with this game, um, especially since they just posted on Steam their roadmap, which is really cool. Um, and also talking about like connectivity issues and other little things that they rolled out an update, which they did actually, and I just installed it. So I'm hoping that we'll see something a little bit better in terms of gameplay too. Don't want to wake up the wife with me talking into the internet. So, here we are. Oh, interesting developments. Let me pull these out. So, remember how I told y'all last night that I was working on a story, a book or podcast. So, the one book that I've been working out of right now is this one. It's called 30 Days of World Building. So, I don't think I talked about it much, but here's the thing. So this helps me organize a lot of my thoughts, and I love world building. And like I said yesterday, it kind of like adds, or last night, it adds to the god complex that I have, that I have developed over the years. So this right here is helped me organize all of my thoughts. Now, by the same author, which is really cool. This book was like $14, 14 $15 on Amazon, so it was pretty cool. By the same author, this woman has this one, and this one's called Sanctity to Sorcery: How to Build Religions and Magic Systems. This has been something I have always struggled with. Something I've always struggled with in terms of world building is building religions and then building magic systems. So I'm hoping this will help me in the long run. So we'll do that. And I saw some other things that I had to pick up. Um, this is part of a three-part series, and I love these kinds of things, which seems kind of cool. This one is the world building workbook, and it's the only world building workbook you'll ever need, according to the author. And the sheets and everything else like that look pretty cool. Um, some things to take into account. You know, maybe I'll do a world building live stream, and we can do something if that's something that people are interested in. This one seems pretty cool. This one is a character workbook. So this kind of helps me develop specific secondary characters, minor characters, and of course major characters. And that's always been a bit of an issue with me as well. So hopefully this will help me organize some things as well. Uh, hey Christian, how's it going? And the last thing, and the last book that I picked up is this one, and this one is Plot Devices. Um, while I am a dungeon master when I play D&D, and I haven't played D&D in about several years, um, developing a good plot, kind of intricate to a story. So we're going to see how this goes, and I am looking forward to working on a lot of that stuff. Especially, I really want to dive into this book. So we will definitely have to see how this goes. But looks like Nightingale has loaded up. And let's jump in. Kind of remember we kind of got left off last night by all things considered. I've been all right. Thanks for asking. Um, been, been a dad and working on that kind of stuff, which has been really cool. What is with the bright light? Why is there flashes? Something going on that I'm not aware of. Okay. Oh, did I don't think I... Or did I? Nope, I did. I made him. Come a cell. We need to head over to the next realm. But yeah, I've been alright. Being a dad to a 1-year-old. She's about to be 2. So there's that. She's actually going to be 2 at the end of this month. Which is absolutely crazy. That my daughter is growing up. And it's been oof, man. it has been something else. It really has. It's really been something else being a dad. If anything, my priorities have changed quite dramatically, like, especially in terms of work. I'd rather be home with my wife and daughter. Not that when I didn't have my daughter, I didn't want to be home with my wife, but I always liked making extra money to give to my wife so she can have things. But now it's like, I don't want to be at work. It's not that I hate it. I just don't want to be there. And I'd rather be at home with my family. Because that's what matters. So... what was it? But yeah, so... But other than that, it's been alright. Dealing with this, nonsensical... What's this? Oh, is that tin? That looks like tin. NT... I don't know. Yeah, it's tin. The first thing, like, as soon as I stop, the first thing Estelle does is chop down a tree. I don't know what's up with that, but... What happened? There she goes again. Chopping trees. Is this something? Is this a thing? Nope, it's not a thing. Make sure I'm heading in the right direction. Yes, this way. Oh, that's a gnarly looking thing. Oh shit. Not gonna scare the crap out of me this time. Gotcha. We'll go ahead and pick up all this stuff here. Why not? What was that? I know I wasn't the only one who heard that one. Alright, let's see. Estelle, stop chopping trees. She loves to chop her trees, man. Is this anything? And also appear out of freaking nowhere. That's one thing Estelle is good for. It's just like popping out of nowhere. freaks me out. Like, it genuinely freaks me out. How she just pops in and out of nowhere. Okay, wait. Are we getting, like, the light burst because clouds are moving in front of the sun? Is that what's going on? See, she's right there. She popped up right in front of me. That rock looked weird. Look at this. Ain't this a trip? Ain't this a trip? I mean, there's a way to get up there. There's actually something up there, but I don't think I can actually get up there. At least not right now. Or maybe I can. You chop down that tree, man. Alright. Can I... Nope. Not ready. I'm not ready to advance to that part of the story yet. Alright. Let's go ahead and put these cards in. Hopefully we don't get kicked out of the... out of this thing. Oh. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, so that means something's about to go down. If it's not gonna let me walk through, then that means... I want to let me walk through. Craft a forest card and an antiquarian card and traverse a portal. Now, okay. I'm curious if it's because... Let me see. Dismiss recruit. Let's see. Nope. This is weird. This is the same issue that we had last time. Okay, now, there you go. I guess it just wasn't ready to let me through. Okay, well, now we know what to do. Made some really good tea today. Supposedly the weather is supposed to be pretty bad tomorrow. At least in my area. It's supposed to be thundering and lightning and raining. Which sucks because... The reason why it sucks is because me and the wife, we went out to the local nursery, bought some plants. I spent all day most of the morning doing yard work. It was great. Just, alright. Okay, did Estelle come with me? She did come with me. That's awesome. Talk to Aurelio Acevedo Ortega. Love the name. Hello, Aurelio. The archway sparking to life roused the dread in this weary head. Glad it was only you who stepped out. Hold a minute. I'd recognize that dangling chain from miles away. A Realmwalker's pocket watch. You carry their hermetic guidebook, too? But you're no member of the Explorers League. I was given these tools. I suppose you say the same even if you weren't. Now, admittedly, I wouldn't know Quartermain's newest geo-arcane recruits, but I can see it in the dark of your eyes. You're an infant in these realms, a refugee fleeing the Pale, I'd hazard. Yes, I suppose we're all Realmwalkers now. Aurelio Aceveda Ortega is the name, ambassador, explorer by title, and 30-year Realmwalker by trade. While I'm resting my trotters, I've been told to make it my duty to help the lost be found, wherever you're headed. I may indeed require that aid. I imagine so, though I find myself in the realms by choice. It seems your recent influx of visitors did not wish for the explorer's life. The explorers? You truly are out of your depths. Explorers are those who have been granted official membership to the Royal Cosmographical and Geo-Arcane Society. It began as an association promoting the discovery of the exterior, non-canonical realms. Sign guilds and served as a forum. Okay, so woefully it's no longer so exclusive. Quite a step away from its glory of yesteryear, if you ask me. Okay. What have you been doing in the realms for 30 years? Searching for a place, which in some ways is one and the same. However, my current expedition is certainly not a pressing matter. At least not for you. I'm sure you have other questions. I do. Okay, so yeah, let's try to figure out some of this story here, because there's a moment where we're being chased by these demonic-looking things, and hey, Tony, how's it going? We're being chased by these demonic-looking things. We go through a portal, we end up somewhere, and boom, we're here. So let's try to figure out what are the realms? And this is why I tried to tell our so-called greatest minds that the Paris transept was witless and imprudent. Don't know any of that, whatever that is. The realms are not a vacation spot for the wealthy aristocrats, no matter how much they believe they want it. Okay, gotcha. They are composed of endless interconnected lands, or bubbles, according to the Castile model. In any case, these are places where terror and wonder are siblings, marching hand in hand. I like that. I like that line. That's a really good line. Listen, do you not hear it as we speak? That abhorrent, serene screaming all around us, which most call the sounds of nature? No. One careful listen, one careful look tells all you need to know about the realms. They are domain of the Fae, even if they are playing truant more than usual, since the calamity. Don't let their absence fool you. Countless other creatures and spirits still roam. Okay, well, that's cool. Now, is there a way back to Earth? I'm making course for Nightingale. You're fortunate the city still breathes at all. However, with the portal network dismantled, your path to the city of magic is a labyrinth of connections with no map. Good. I cannot get you there, but I have a colleague, shall we say, whose mission matches your own. Nellie Bly. How have I been? I've been okay. Trying to enjoy spring break for the most part. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I can't believe today is Thursday. Time has flown by. So, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then, of course, when we go back to work next week, we have star testing that we have to get ready for. So it's like, ugh. I know a little about her concrete plans, but she was working with Quartermain, attempting to find a haven for those who have been stranded. Yeah, yeah. So right now, well, I mean, to be completely honest, when we come back to work next week, Monday the kids are not going to be there because that's going to be long range planning for us. So there's not going to be much for us to do. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're off Friday because of Good Friday. So it's going to be a short week. It's going to be a three day work week, and then a 3 day weekend, and then we'll have that long haul to start testing and also the summer. So I'm not looking forward to the long haul. So you know how I can reach Nellie then? I know where she is, but if Nellie learned that I sent an unprepared survivor on a perilous jaunt to find her, she'd grind my brain into sausage, and yet I'm also not one for hand-holding. Call me a bygone Ostentarius. But it wasn't always so... Okay, what does that word mean? I need to know now. Hold on. Bygone Ostentarius? What does that mean? Latin word, something anglicized as ostiary, but often literally translated as porter or doorman. Originally was a slave or guard posted at the entrance of a building. In the Roman Catholic Church, this porter became the lowest of the four minor orders prescribed by the Council of Trent. So, a doorman? Okay. So, interesting. Okay. That's good to know. Alright. Now we know I've learned a new word, and it's Latin. So, moving forward. To prove you're up to the task, what say you to a series of 3 trials? The very same I underwent to obtain my... I suppose I could give it a try. Right, yeah. Let's see, you better find more confidence in your stride. The first trial is about assessing your surroundings. There are all manner of Fae ruins in the realm, and where there are ruins, there are secrets. The Fae hide valuable essences in their architecture. Something to do with clauses and contracts. It's all legal stuff. Realmwalkers were oft hired to extract these materials, so explore these sites and return when you hold essence in your hand. Okay. Right then, essence. Off you go. Show me what you're made of. Wear those boots well. Couldn't have said it better. All right. So we need to acquire 65 tier 1 essence. All right. Let's take a look at the map here. What do we got here? We got some type of animal thingy. We got a Fade Tower, an Essence Trader. Alright. Well, first things first. We need to put down some roots. That is the first thing that we gotta do. So we need rocks and stone blocks. Alright. Gotta put down some roots. Yes, I no longer stream on Twitch. I've kind of given up on Twitch as a platform. Much like how I've given up on the Daily Wire as any form of conservative media. But that's a story for another time. Okay, can't hit these rocks. Boom. Let's see. Oh well, if you do, you want to jump in a Discord chat while you watch? I don't have any, I don't mind. Alright, we're gonna put some roots down. Probably in this tree, up in this tree line up here. Come, Estelle. We have work to do. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I can. I don't mind. It's all right. I can wait. Oof. Nice hit. All right. So now we got plenty of weight. I'm gonna place this structure here. There we go. Homestead. Apply. Okay. So no, you don't have to stop talking to Scrapper and the guys. That's fine, man. Alright, so I want to actually take a look at what the foundation looks like out of stone. Alright. Ooh. Ah, shit. They shouldn't be able to get in here. She's gonna have to cut all those trees down. And I'm gonna have to go look for stone. Let's leave, go start recording for a video I'm trying to get done for the channel. Okay. I mean, if I can load up Discord then, if you don't mind. Let's see. I don't mind if you join. Not at all. Give me a second here. Let's see. Let's see. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Ah, okay. Give me a second. I need to...
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Chat. Video and voice. Okay. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have one more person that wants to join. Let's see. Hold on. Where are you? Let's see. There you go, bud. I'm gonna add in Christian to the chat. Okay, go back to this real quick. All right, and then we're gonna build. Wait, what's going on? Build. Place.
Yeah, the video I'm trying to work on is an Empire at War, Forces of Corruption video.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool.
And some other news, since now it is official, I am now a moderator in War of Brothers. So now I'll be eyes in the skies for watching some of the matches.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm so happy that you joined the regiment, man. I'm glad you found a place with it.
I'm happy that I've been a part of. It's about to be a year coming up in May.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy to think about.
I've
You actually just hit your year last month.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
February 21st.
Yeah, when I left the Fourth Texas, and they're going through some changes right now because I still keep up with those guys. I still keep very much up with those guys, and they're a little bit all over the place. Leadership is not what it used to be, from my understanding.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate.
Because, if it's for the worse, again, unfortunate. If it's not, means it could be better. That means it's better. That means it's good.
Right.
But telling from how it sounds, it's not good.
Alright, I need to. How do I add another person to this? Add friend here. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So, I don't know if you saw my little rant on X earlier, just a little while ago.
I did not. Which I'll take a look at it now. Actually,
I mean, it's not anything like any. Hey, what's going on? It's not anything like groundbreaking or anything like that. It's just a major annoyance that I have with the Daily Wire now, and this is the second time they've done this, or actually no, the third time that they've done this. And I don't know how many at this point I can't count how many times I've gotten into it with simps over Matt Walsh and Andrew Clavin and Shapiro. I cannot count the number on a single hand whatsoever. And it
first person to highlight wokeness in the video game industry. It sounds like someone's never played a video game.
Okay. Why is this what's going on here? Why is this going on like that? I'm confused. Is there a reason why this stuff is... This game is so weird at times. Yeah, so So have you heard about that whole Sweet Baby Inc. Nonsense that's been going on? Are you familiar? Are you
Uh,
familiar with that at all?
no, but what I do think I do know is that they took it all the way to the UN.
No, that's Gamergate 1. That's Gamergate 1. Uh, that was like feminist frequency back. That was like 2014 to 2017. Uh,
That's
er-
crazy.
yeah, I know. It's absolutely crazy. And like this one right here is this situation like right now is it got so it could have been a nothing burger. I think that's the worst part about it. It could have been a serious nothing burger, but game journos are going to do what game journals do best. And just like any other journalists, they're just going to stoke the fires. And so, where is it? This one. Place. Okay.
I'll just say this. It's funny how they say there are man children playing these games. But the funny thing about it is, you call these people man children, but yet there are people that are in this industry that have made billions and billions of dollars.
Well, it's not even so much that. Like I can understand calling some of the developers man children because, I mean, from a political standpoint, most of the individuals that work in the game industry, they're not conservative. They're majority either libertarian or they're on the left spectrum of some sorts. All right. Ah, shoot. No, you don't. Come here, you stupid wolf.
The game have full-blown concerns. Is why culture war will and always be a gift on the right. Mainstream take talking heads don't care about the arts, tech, or any media. This holier than thou shtick. 100%. And then I look at the comments being stated and just seeing people, someone agreeing with Chris and just saying, they all get offended. It's like, one, you're attacking someone's, peace that they actually have at the end of the day sometimes, with probably not having any previous experience with how you're projecting it. So it to me seems that they are the ones that not the don't knock it till you try it, but more like I'm not going to try it at all, but I'm still going to knock it.
Right. Shoot. Let's see.
Man, I joined right in the middle of the politics conversation, huh?
Not going to lie, you joined in some of the best conversations, let's be frank.
Yeah? Oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
It is what it is.
Well, it's really not so much politics. It's that politics has gotten involved in the gaming industry, or at least they have taken notice of things that are happening in the gaming industry that gamers have been complaining about for since 2014. And now they're kind of like, oh, we're going to talk about that. But here's the thing. Matt Walsh, he has made it known he hates gaming and he hates anime. Like, he hates it with a passion.
He has stated that, yep.
And that's fine. That's totally fine. You don't have to like the media, all right, or whatever, or the medium, and that's fine, all right. But what they forget also too, that there are individuals who have the like-minded politics who also play video games.
Yep.
And they are essentially ostracizing those individuals by saying the stupid things that they're saying, like calling gamers, man children or children in general, immature and all these other things. When they and I think this is what bothers me the most, and I've noticed this about the Daily Wire. Ever since the whole Steven Crowder debacle, and I found myself engaging less and less with the Daily Wire and its commentary, and its hosts, I should say. Not because my politics are changing, just because I see the grift now. It's what is the word that I use? Controlled opposition.
Yes, yes, that's the phrase you exactly used, is control opposition.
Yeah.
And
I literally read over all that you stated.
So that is how I see the Daily Wire. I see the Daily Wire as controlled opposition. They are unipartyists, regardless of what they say. They benefit just as much as the left does from all this controversy. And I think it annoys the hell out of me so much that they claim to be concerned about the wokeness and the culture and all of this other stuff. But, I think it was Shapiro back in 2016, 2017, maybe earlier, that politics and culture, or was it culture is downstream from politics, or something like that. Something to that effect. Or maybe it was culture is downstream. I don't remember. Anyways. That you have... I'm trying to put my words here. So, Daily Wire pundits, the talking heads, will always claim that the culture war this and the culture war that, and continue to talk about the culture war, rev up their base, and all of this other thing. God, I sound like a leftist now. And completely rev up their fan base. And their fan base will clap like seals and go along with it. But then they don't actually do anything about it. And they won't. They won't, because that's their meal ticket. That's their the way they're going to make their money off of the seals. Donate to the Daily Wire so we can open up and challenge tech companies, but you're just as bad as the tech companies. We need to fight this nonsense. They don't fight anything. Golly.
I feel like I'm back in the rowdy Texan days.
I know, right?
I remember the rants he used to give when we were in class.
Oh my God. I miss those days. Oh, you stupid wolf. So, I think that's the reason why the right loses young people all the time. And not so much they lose them to the left. The right shoots itself in the foot and creates more libertarians. Because you have young people who want to be able to, watch their anime waifus and enjoy their video games and comic books and all this extra stuff that, they don't connect with in terms of what the culture is. Like, I don't necessarily listen to my dad's music from when he was, when he was growing up. I mean, yeah, I listen to it every now and then, but I still listen to the stuff that I grew up with as a kid. All the 80s rock and hair metal and punk and all that other stuff, you know?
You just dated yourself.
Yeah, I know. I've accepted that I'm an old person. I've accepted that. I think when I had my first set of students claim that I was 50, and I'm just like,
I know the pain.
like I'm 39, all right. I'm 39. I am not 50. Thanks, I guess. I have no comment to that. And bastards.
There's one kid that said to me, it was last year around my birthday. It was actually on my birthday that he said this. And, kids were taking a guess at my age because they were always shocked to know my age because, I look older than what I am. But one of the kids was like, I thought you were way older than that. I'm like, well, how old do you think I was? He's like, I don't want to say, be rude. I'm like, I don't care. Take your best shot. He's like, I thought you were 65. I'm like,
65 now.
Yeah.
65.
Yeah. But then
Ow.
it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. This other kid, without skipping a beat, said, "Congratulations, Mr. B. You have finally made it to retirement, and you'll be able to retire in a few months."
Dude,
I'm like,
not
all right,
in
fair
this
enough.
day and age.
like,
Not in this day and age.
I know,
don't
right?
know anyone retiring at 65.
ish. Not very many people can.
And also, our lovely people up at Capitol Hill want to make us, work until we're 75. Love that.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh no, that's something that they actually tried to pass
Oh no,
very recently.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Believe me, I'm very much aware. I'm very much aware of that nonsense.
It's all a bunch of noise. They want to stamp and shout.
I'm telling you, man. A lot of people think I'm crazy when I say that. There's no such. Democrats and Republicans. That's just. It's just one big solid party.
I mean, they used to be known as the Democratic Republicans.
True, but
They don't like to be reminded of that. They get very angry when you tell them that.
yeah. Or the fact that our founding fathers said that if the will of the people decide that the government's not doing its job, they have the right to change it by any means necessary.
And thus, they also then try to change that, but yet also fail at the same time.
It's kind of like the same thing. Like, oh man, there's a lot of things that bug me in my old age. It's getting to the point now to where it's just like old man yells at the clouds now at this point, because you guys know, like, I'm a huge fan of history. You guys know that.
Oh yeah.
I know this first I've ever heard of this. Oops, that. Okay, no, I got it. Need 19 more stone. I'm a huge constitutionalist. As the Constitution states it, that's how it should be. There's no wiggle room. All right, and it's always been something that I've firmly believed, and and secretly, I try to do this with my students as I teach U.S. history. I try to make it. I try to make it known that hey, the Constitution says this, all right. And I was talking to Tony about this a little while ago. So we've entered sectionalism and getting ready to gear up for the Civil War. Okay, and I proposed a question to my students, and these are 8th graders, by the way. All right, and I wanted them to come up to this conclusion themselves. So I asked my students, I said, all right, guys, let me ask you this question really quick. All right. is there any law now that you can think of that states ignore? A federal law. We're not talking about state laws. Whatever laws are in the state of Texas, those are the laws for the state. I'm talking about federal law. Now that we know the difference between federal and state, are there any federal laws that states choose to ignore for whatever reason? And I asked this question throughout the day. Now I teach both regular and also AAC, or these are my pre-AP kids.
Yeah.
And so I proposed this question to all my classes. Now my reg kids, they couldn't really think of anything because they're not concerned about that stuff. But my pre-AP kids kind of thought about it, and they still, I guess it kind of also poses to their innocence as a way, so which makes me kind of happy. And so the answer to the question was like, yeah, and that is, what does the state of Colorado and California legalize? And the kids thought about it like, weed? I said, exactly. Okay, so the state of California legalizes marijuana. The state of Colorado does the same. They tax it, the state benefits. But there's a federal law that says that it's an illegal substance and should not be used. And so the kids started thinking about it like, well, why can they do that? I said, well, where in the Constitution did the founders give a right to the states to do what they want? Well, not do what they want, but to kind of make laws for themselves. And they all pointed to the 10th Amendment, federalism, or like, like, okay, so you're exactly right. So I went into my spiel and we started talking about it. We had a classroom discussion. And my next question was like, okay, so if the federal law is ignored, but it benefits the state monetarily and economically, is it okay for a state to ignore a federal law? The students all said, yeah. I mean, if it benefits everyone that lives in the state in some way, because we went through different examples. I said, okay, cool. I'm glad. So we all agree, right, guys? I just want to make sure before we move forward into the discussion. And they said, yeah. Okay, good. So now let me pose this question to you guys. So I got on the board and I wrote in big letters, slavery. What about slavery? And the kids started thinking about it and they were like, well, no, you can't. I said, hold on. Are you coming at this from a moralistic point of view, or are you coming at this from a constitutional point of view? Because we all agreed that a state can ignore federal law if it benefits the state. So now what? How do we amend this situation? And then so one of my pre-AP kids, she got up and she said, well, if it's okay by the people, isn't there like popular sovereignty? And I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. So if the state votes by the will of the people they want it, and the federal government says that they can't have it, who's in the wrong? And she started thinking about it, and then the class was like, well, it sounds like the federal government's in the wrong. And I said, oh wait, the federal government's in the wrong? And then one kid got up and she's like, Mr. C, you're okay with slavery? I said, no, I didn't say I was okay with slavery. I am just posing the question. We all agree that if a state benefits, they can ignore a federal law. So, what's going on? And so, kind of left him on that cliffhanger on Friday before we went on break.
I remember you dropping the same bombshell on us.
You evil man.
Not the legalizer part, but definitely the slavery discussion. I remember that was a hot topic in our class for a week.
And so it was like, so now they're trying to reconcile the power of the federal government and then the power of the Constitution now. And so we had my pre-AP kids got into a discussion in class, and it was split almost half and half, with saying like, well, the federal government's in charge. They're the ones that make the decisions and the laws, so they get the final say. But the other half was like, well, the 10th Amendment doesn't actually say they have individual powers. It doesn't define who has power. They have to share it. So states have rights. And I'm like, oh, this is going to get good.
Get the popcorn, get the lawn chair, and just
This is gonna get good. And I was very clear with my students, and I told them, I said, look, guys, I'm not saying that I condone slavery. Owning another human being is a despicable thing, but we have
That's
to.
a very
a very
heavy-
big butt.
It's a very big but we have to reconcile these differences. How do we do that? And then we went on to Harper's Ferry, and I did the name drop of Robert E. Lee, and I said, write down this name. You're going to have to know who this person is, but we're not going to talk about who he is exactly right now. And they were just like, you're just going to name drop somebody, and you're not going to tell us exactly who he is? I said, no.
Oh, spoil the fun.
This is
This is just my little tangent. How do you not know who Robert E. Lee is? I feel like that's something you should. Okay, well, what grade do you teach?
Eighth grade.
Before I just go,
8th grade.
I feel like that's something you should at least be aware of slightly. He's one of the 3 people you hear about in Civil War.
I agree. I mean, I think even in Texas history, they should have at least talked about the Civil War.
Yeah.
And Texas involvement as well.
You know, it's like you should at least know who who this person is.
That's a pretty major name, but that's my tangent.
Oh no, hey, look, I totally agree with you. That you know, there are just some things. There are just some things that you should like at least try to commit to memory, and that's just that's just one of them.
It's one of the big 3 of it. So yeah.
You know, everybody knows who Abraham Lincoln is. All right, and
A majority of people know who Unconditional Surrender Grant is.
or the war criminal Sherman is. Of course, they don't see him as a war criminal.
No, they don't.
No.
Which.
And we wasn't
Then
talking
again.
about how horrible everyone in the South was, but that destroyed the South's economy for decades.
Yeah, I get a lot of hate when I go into Twitter threads and they're talking about the Civil War and they talk about Sherman, and then I post a picture of like Calvin pissing on Sherman's head, calling him a war criminal and things like that, and that really doesn't fly well for some of the fanboys.
I actually found out some history about our regiment and War of Rights.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. To be 100% frank, not gonna lie, First LAB was probably just as bad as Sherman.
Really?
There's one. Was it?
Yeah, absolutely.
There was one instance where the Louisiana Zouaves were marching out of a battle, and there was a bunch of wounded Yanks around them, and one of the wounded Yanks was like, "Shoot me, put me out of my misery. Death is much sweeter than this." And one of the Zouaves got out of formation, walked up to him, put his Mississippi right up to his head, and just let loose.
Really?
And turned around and looked at every single other wounded Yank. Would anyone like to be accommodated like this young fella? No one said anything, and he's like, good. And they get back in formation.
Okay, so my question is, not that I'm trying to justify the actions. Are we talking towards the end of the war, or towards the start of the war?
So the Zouaves have been around since 1861. Their
Okay.
last hurrah, I think, was at Antietam.
Antietam?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, either it was Antietam or it was Gettysburg. Or actually, really, their true quote-unquote last real hurrah was at Appomattox. And then they were just straight up put to guard trains. They were train guards.
I was gonna say if they only made it to Antietam, that means they didn't make it to the end of the war. That means the unit was a terrible unit.
Oh, well, believe it or not, majority of me and Scrapper and Dope Man, we all talked about this. Like Scrapper showed us all this information about the Zouaves and like how, A.G. Coppins, the leader of the Zouaves, his brother, Murray, was one of the captains of F Company. So
Okay.
we had up to F Company in our unit. But what they would do, they would literally set a recruitment post right outside the jail cells
Oh,
in the jails. We recruited criminals.
I mean,
Which, I mean, basically the recruiter said, either you fight for us or you stay laying waste and decaying in this prison cell. Tell you, it was a really good cell rep.
okay. To be fair,
Here we go.
it is Louisiana.
It is Louisiana.
To be fair,
Which actually, believe it or not, they actually started in Florida. And they walk
even
and they
more
walk-
so, even
and they
even
walk
more.
drunkenly, and the officers would get their men drunk because they believe that they fought better.
I mean,
And
That sounds about right.
and here's another thing: the officers were of a different quote unquote class than the regular troop. And so if they saw, the troops not doing what they were supposed to do, they were lacking, they were not doing, they were not doing anything. The officers would commissar them and shoot them
well,
for not doing their jobs or just being stupid.
I mean,
And I literally told Scrapper, I bet you Stalin looked at these guys and was like, that's what I need.
I don't think Stalin was concerned about the American Civil War.
Oh no, that's all I could think of it being.
he was more concerned with
My
rounding
moment.
up the Cossacks and the Jews out of Russia. So
Let me have my headcanon.
He wasn't even concerned with his own civil wars.
yeah,
Oh no, heavens! Well, he was in Siberia for that.
I'll tell you one thing. God forbid you mention that Stalin was an anti-Semitic, Georgian.
He was an anti-Russian Georgian for that matter.
You're not wrong about that one either.
I mean, like freaking, you look at it and just how Stalin. I like how we just jump from Civil War straight up into Stalin.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's
It's normally how history turns. It's normally when we always take a turn. But like people are always like, "Oh, Stalin was there was this video today that I saw that someone was like, "Oh, we want to, continue, the memories and the teachings of Lenin." And I'm over here like,
Huh?
"Are you going to talk about his secret police? You want to keep those in mind?" Sounds about
the
right.
only reason why he died is because he had everyone who could have possibly helped him rounded up and disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had Beria. Let's not forget Beria.
Oh,
Right.
don't get me started on him.
Hey, I found out.
He's a nasty piece of work.
Oh my god! Actually, I heard that it was capitalist. I kid you not. This was on a forum that I was trolling around on Reddit. And apparently, a lot of individuals in this subreddit claim that it was capitalist propaganda that Beria was a pedo. That there are no actual basis for the claims held against him.
I'm sorry, but I think his two most closest officers would beg to differ.
And I also think Stalin
Yeah.
would have an issue with that too, seeing how Stalin did not want his daughter anywhere near them.
Want her nowhere near him.
Which means that Stalin knew, and he's complicit in his actions. Yeah, but nobody's going to touch Stalin, though.
No way is anyone going to touch Stalin, but also Stalin had a bit of fear for Beria because of how he was.
Well, okay, but the only reason why I got into the whole Beria thing was that I've been reading the light novel for the Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Okay.
Okay. I love the light novel. I'm absolutely enthralled by it. Right now. Are you familiar with it, Chris?
It's been a while, but I have heard of it.
Hey, One Life,
haven't
how's it
done
going? What's going on, One Life? Welcome to the stream. So it's kind of like it's an isekai, but it's not like a cringy isekai. It's an alternate history one, and I thought the premise was kind of cool. And so you have this dude. That was weird. That tree just disappeared and turned into logs. That's exactly what happens.
I won't finish that joke, but there were places I could have gone with that.
By all means, go. Just go.
I was gonna say, just like the Amazon, just like.
Oh.
Oh man, I love it. I have what do you call it? I'm trying to do things. Okay, so basically, the isekai takes place about you have this dude who dies in 2012. Okay, and he's like a staunch atheist. All right, and he works for human resources of all places. All right, so he understands. He has a pretty good understanding of how the importance of human life is, all this other stuff. How resources need to be managed and things of that nature. He's a pretty interesting character. So, at the start of the episode and the book, he's in the process of firing people from the company that he works at. Like, that's his job. His job is to fire people. All right, and he's really good at it. So he fires somebody over the fact that they're just a terrible worker, and all this other stuff. He gets pushed onto the trail line on the rail lines as he's trying to get back home by the dude he fired. The world stops.
It's one of those. What's the term? It's just like the bus that.
It's the truck. It's truck coon or something like that.
Train coon.
Now it's train coon now. So train senpai, please take me away.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry. Those words will never come out of my mouth again.
Thank God.
Though I have made my students cringe by me going ooh woo sometimes.
Man, I wish you were on Twitch. I would have clipped this.
You should be able to clip it on YouTube, actually.
Can you? I never know.
Yeah, you're able to.
Let me see. What do I need? I need something. Fiber.
There's a lot of things you probably need.
Yeah. So, he gets transported to this alternate reality by God. All right, or as they call it, Being X. And because he refuses to acknowledge that this individual is God, because if God real, it's a very Reddit-like argument to God. Like, if God real, why bad things happen?
Yeah.
And so he refuses to acknowledge that this being who stopped the train that's about to hit him and also isekai'd him to another realm or another reality is some type of supernatural being. or God. So refers to them as being X. There you go, got it. And that's it. Oh man. And so the reality is very interesting, as it's very much like our world, okay? But they're about to be in the middle of a great war, a world war. Okay? Technology and science are not a thing in this world. It's magic. To an extent. Certain individuals are born with the abilities to, harness this power, and what's called the Empire, which is basically Weimar Germany, except under a strict military junta. Like, they have the Kaiser, okay, which we haven't met, or the Emperor, but it seems like the military is calling the shots completely in this world, or in this area.
Sounds like Boy 4 when you decide to commit the civil war in Germany. I do it every time. I don't want Mustache Man in charge.
Mustache Man?
Mustache Man.
Mustache Man.
This is YouTube. We have to do it.
Yeah, you're right. So there's trench warfare. Tanks are not a thing yet. Airplanes are sort of a thing, but they're not very popular because there are these units called aerial mages. And aerial mages use magic and these special stones that allow them to fly and do like different types. It's a military story. So
makes AA gun.
Huh?
Makes AA gun.
Yeah. And so
this you casual.
It's a very interesting one, and the only reason why I'm talking about this right now is because there's a portion where you have this other nation called the Federation. Okay, they are this world's equivalent to Russia under the Soviet Union, and they have like the Great Comrade, and then of course they have this other guy who is called. His name is not Beria, but it's like Bilia or something. It's something like it's very close
on
to
the
it.
nose.
Yeah, it's on the nose,
right.
And not to mention he looks like any other picture of Beria. Okay, and so I was looking at the subreddit for this because I was waiting for the second season, see if there was any notice of a second season that's coming out, because there's supposed to be one. We got a bunch of OVAs, but we haven't heard. We've been teased of a second season. But anyways, I digress. Oh, and a movie. There's a movie out too.
So I heard.
The movie's actually pretty cool. The movie is actually pretty awesome. Anyways, so there's actually fans, literal fanboys and fangirls of the Beria equivalent of this guy in the anime. I kid you not. Like, I saw one post where, like, why they make this guy look like this? Like, he's way cuter than what he should be. And they actually had a picture of Beria that they're basing the guy off there. I'm like, and I replied on there, like, are you insane? Like, do you know who this guy is? And the worst part about it, in the movie, because that's when that's when he's featured as a character, he's shown being driven around by his driver, looking at young ladies, trying to pick one.
I mean, so
That's hilarious.
I don't mean to interject here, but there's actually a story, like one of the accounts that actually happened of Barry kind of doing that, to where he so it was a daughter-in-law to one of the generals, and she was on her way home with her husband, and Barry was just following them with like a man possessed, frightening his wife, mind you, who was sitting right next to him. while he was doing this.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of weebs are now idolizing this person. That's funny.
Oh God,
This is
and
funny.
it is absolutely horrible. And the worst part about in the novels, the light novels are not flattering at all for this guy. Like he comes off as he should as a creep. Because here's the thing, the main character is a little girl. Okay? Like the dude is put into a body of a child. She's by the time the movie comes out, I want to say that she's 13 years of age. She joined the military at 8. She became a lieutenant colonel at 9.
yeah, go.
Yeah, I mean, her wealth of knowledge of World War I and World War II history benefits.
See, and never say history didn't give you anything.
And like it's so
Yeah.
it's so crazy because like she's literally he well she because that's what it is. She is literally using her wealth of knowledge from her previous life to write actual term papers that are being taken into consideration by high command, like Kampfgruppe organization and new styles of trench warfare, new styles of squad warfare, and things of that nature. That is giving the Empire literally an edge over its enemies that are still stuck in like 18th century warfare.
That's fascinating.
Thanks
As
for the
a
blitz.
concept, that sounds really cool.
And so it's absolutely insane. And so the Beria in the movie is like swooned by her. And in the novels, he does everything that he can to get information about her, to kidnap her. And it's very like the author is very descriptive on what he wants to do to her. And it's exactly, it's downright creepy. And like, and I've mentioned on the forums, like, you guys are fanning over somebody who wants to do this to the main character, the MC. Like, you think that this is okay. Not to mention, like, look, regardless of the lolly stuff or whatever, I don't care. All right, but just the fact that you are simping over an actual pedo. Like, are you okay?
I mean, it was confirmed that the real life Beria, he just went out screaming like a child because they were going to execute him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which the funny thing is that when you look at it with Khrushchev, Malenkov, well, really, he thought Malenkov would be there for him when really Malenkov's like, nope, I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing.
Right.
And then you just have basically like the quote unquote tribunal of the Soviet Union just doing their job and being like, all these accounts of like, first things first, we're naming off, you wanting to support, the Western powers and capitalism and all that, but then just brings out all of these other charges of just being an absolute creep.
Yeah.
And also what else he did.
Man,
Which,
the movie Death of Stalin is actually pretty good too if you haven't seen it.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yes,
actually,
it is.
I gotta say, Steve Buscemi as Gorbachev. Is it Gorbachev?
Khrushchev.
Steve Buscemi's role as Khrushchev is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, 100%. And then also Jason Isaacs as Zukov is great.
Like, when I knew that he was going to play
steals the
Zukov, and towards the end,
steals the show.
he steals the show.
I love it.
Jason Isaacs at Zukov is absolutely amazing.
The one deleted scene where, him and all his boys have the AKs out and that one general just walks in and he's like, shoot him. No, I'm just messing around. For frick's sake. And then just walks out the room.
Yeah.
Y'all just giving me a list of things I need to read and watch now, apparently.
Yes. 100%.
Oh man, yeah. Death of Stalin is absolutely. It's actually. It's comedy.
It's dark comedy.
But it's
and I
dark
love it.
comedy.
Yeah.
It's dark comedy.
Oh, it's the best kind of comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
100%. And so it has a great all-star cast. But yeah, Steve Buscemi was hilarious in that one. And then the actual way of how they kind of like move Stalin's body towards the beginning. How they were just all trying to like show reverence
Oh my
at the same time as they were terrified because they were so scared that he was going to wake up and have them shot.
Right.
Yep.
Or like,
I read a
what's it?
journal. I read a journal of a person who was at Stalin's funeral, and he said he just spent the entire time in absolute terror, like borderline sweating blood, because he was just waiting for Stalin to sit up and have them all executed
Oh
for not
God,
mourning loud enough, or reviving him.
that is some Kim Jong Un stuff right there.
That's definitely his granddad right there. That's Kim Il Sung right
Oh,
there.
excuse me, you're right, Kim Il Sung. You're right. My bad.
Like because we watched a video in World Geography about whenever the people went into North Korea to do the basketball tournament and such with the Harlem Globetrotters,
Mm-hmm.
and just watching one of the clips, and we're talking about it, and there's a clip of Kim Il Sung. He's passed away, and you just hear all these people crying, and you see this news reporter. He's crying like, "How could this be? How could he have died? How is this possible?" But when you genuinely know that behind the camera, there's a bunch of AKs pointed right at your head.
Right. What sucks too. Okay, so Vice, actually, back when they were actually really good and before they shut down, thank goodness, they actually had a really good documentary of where they send one of their correspondents to North Korea. And I think
this might be the same one.
This is like a 3 or 4 parts, I think, maybe more, maybe one more, maybe 5. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but it's really, really good. And as soon as the correspondent arrives in North Korea, he's greeted by state officials, obviously. Is put into a car. They're driving. There's no cars in the streets. There's nobody riding bicycles. Boom. Gotcha, stupid pig. And like when they get to their hotel room, the hotel room is bugged. They find that they have to whisper and all this other stuff. They go downstairs to have breakfast. There's nobody in the dining room, but they have the dining room as if 100 or so people are going to be joining them. Like, it's super creepy.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
That they're trying to show off, like, oh, we have all this wealth and all this other stuff, and
well, it goes into the same with the same video that when we were showing. I think it's the same correspondent. He went to their university in Pyongyang.
Okay.
And when they went there, they went into this one area that had all these people. It was a computer lab area, like where you would see a bunch of people on computers working, doing all that, studying anything. No one except one person was doing anything.
Yeah, I think that is. I think that is the same documentary.
They were just looking at a blank screen, not knowing what to do. They had Google on their screen and everything, but then they met the one guy who was, clicking around, typing, all that, and saying that, working with the British and some of the other world powers with string theory. And you could see the facade. The facade was there.
Yeah. I think they also had like a museum of a captured American destroyer.
Yeah.
Don't touch the boats.
Yeah. It's like
the North Koreans of the Korean War learned that the hard way.
It's an American destroyer from like World War II, I think, and I think it was captured from the Korean conflict, and they boasted how the superior North Korean Navy was able to capture this American destroyer, and it's like it looks horrible. It's just okay. Yeah, you can have it.
I mean, and that there was one instant in the Korean War where this, I think it was the USS Wisconsin. I think that's one of our big ships.
Was
too.
it the Wisconsin or was it
I
the?
It was one of the Wisconsin classes, or one of our big battleships, one of the 4.
Is it the one where North Korean artillery decides to scuff the deck?
It's where North Korea, screwed around and found out.
Yeah, they scuffed the deck of our largest battleship in the sea at the time, and
they were like, "Oh, great victory! We hit the enemy." And then all you hear from the captain of the ship is like, "You see that mountain over there?
the topography
Yeah,
the topography changed."
You gentlemen, gunner officers, you hear my orders well. You see that mountain over there? It shouldn't be there. Get it."
Yeah,
then you just
we need to update our maps now.
one of the fellow ships that was escorting it literally sent a message to the Wisconsin saying, "Temper, temper."
It's
I read an article for a research paper, and I think that was the title of it, "Temper, Temper," about those.
oh, that's
I
hilarious.
love it. Hang on, I'm gonna double check and make sure it is the Wisconsin.
But yeah, the actual idea here is that North Korea found out after they
Found out the hard way.
yeah, they found out the hard way, and that we have the capabilities of changing maps if we need to.
And also changing their beloved topography.
Yes. Yeah, that mountain doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that map it needs to be updated.
It is the USS Wisconsin, the big battleship with the bad temper.
Ah, yeah.
I love that.
I mean, when it comes down to it as well, like, Battleship Texas flooding one side so they can shoot 3-pointers at Normandy.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, the captain of that ship was crazy. He was like, "Yeah, you know what we need to do? No one else is able to hit their shots. Flood half of the ship. Hook us up. Get those 14-inch guns, slam it." And so they did. It's actually been confirmed that the USS Texas was the only ship on D-Day to actually hit its targets.
Texas always move them. I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's absolutely insane. And I try to tell my students, like, don't stop studying history. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff. And stuff that I can't actually teach you because of reasons.
Reasons, yeah.
Because I like to, and one kid is like always like, "Well, why not?" And because I like to feed my family.
I like having a not being blacklisted in the state of Texas.
Yeah. I like my job. And
as much as I would love to tell you all about history.
Oh man.
Next question.
Yeah, just me scrubbing the line of the Constitution and states' rights and slavery is
and slavery.
Yeah,
right.
That's
Robert E. Lee. This is one of the important names. You need to remember this.
It's one of those things where it's just like, even then that's kind of like dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Because God forbid these students actually think.
Well, God forbid these students learn proper history.
Like, oof, man. And I think, what was it? I think it was a couple of years ago when Governor Abbott signed that law saying that teachers are not allowed to talk about controversial subjects in social studies. And like, well, that's history in general. That's social studies. History
is controversial as is. How much less do you want us to get?
I mean, I get it. You don't want to spark,
problem for school districts and
for school districts and stuff like that. I get it. And are there bad actors? Absolutely. But how can we expect?
How are they
the future?
To learn? To me, how are they to learn to not repeat the evils of the past if we can't teach them?
Right.
Yeah, that's literally one of the most popular quotes is those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it.
Absolutely.
But I was, since you brought up Abbott, I was going to ask, as a teacher, have you felt a lot of like pressure, felt the changes that he's been making in your district?
Well, I think my district alone, I think they're more concerned about um, what's happening or what has happened in HISD. And
Yeah.
I think they're more trying to avoid that situation from happening than than anything else. And so I think they are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're overreacting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would have to say that they're overreacting heavily, and that it's what Abbott has done, and just alone, just without having the discussions in the classroom. Teachers who are in retirement get a little bit of a pay boost. That's fine. I mean, all that stuff is fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it it's more on the local level than on the state level. That's where the issues are. You know, uh, school boards running amok, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, corruption, all manners of just vile things happening. That's where I feel it at the local level. That's where I feel it. I don't feel it from anything from the state.
Yeah.
So it's like what do you call it? Extinguish. Star, like teaching Star for the first time, it has become very stressful. And I wanted to teach Star related content because I've always taught non-Star content. Which I mean, it has its ups and downs. Not teaching Star content, but there's no challenge. Like I'm not really pushing myself to you know I guess to be a decent teacher, and or I guess to see if I really cut out to do that. Because anyone can teach non-Star related content because all you have to do is just come up with a decent lesson plan, make sure it's followed, make sure the kids are engaged, and that's not a problem. At least not a problem for some. The districts of innovation is an issue for me. Are you familiar with districts of innovation?
Mostly just in passing. I haven't looked too much into it.
Okay. Well, districts of innovation is basically this. You don't need your certification to teach. Okay? All you really need to do is to say that you're working on your certification because there's such a shortage of teachers that some districts are called districts of innovation, which means that they're just allowing anyone to teach. All they have to do is just say that they're working on getting their certification. And they have within their contract that they're given X amount of time to get certified by the state. If they don't get certified by the state, they could possibly not have their job the following school year. But also, too, you'll have some teachers who are, and I'll put teachers in quotes for specifically these individuals, that don't have their certification, but they can deliver numbers, especially on some of the content, like STEM. So if they can deliver the numbers that the state or the district wants to keep the state away from their district, then they're more than happy to renew those contracts, and they'll keep reminding the teacher, hey, get your certification done, pass your PPR, your pedagogy test, keep doing this, keep doing that, you know. But these people will remain employed by the district, and they're not certified teachers. Okay? Now, I have never shied away from this among my fellow teachers, and I always say this, and I say it proudly. I'm an elitist. I'm very proud of that. I worked very hard to go to college. I worked very hard to get my certification and pass my all those other tests. They should be certified. If you're teaching in the classroom, you should be certified. This idea of not having certified personnel teaching subjects to students, it bothers me. I mean, because, and I hate the statement. Because a lot of people quote it, those who can't teach. And that's not the case. That teaching is sure, anyone can teach, but can you teach effectively? That's where it gets to. Can you teach effectively, and can your students remember what you're teaching? Can they recall it when the time comes? And that's the issue. I could teach science. I'm not certified to teach science, but I could teach it. If I'm the kind of individual that reads the teacher's edition add to what we're particularly doing, and I'm looking at the teaks, and I'm aligning my teaks with the lesson, with the textbook, okay, I can do that. You don't have to be trained to do that. It's just common sense. Follow the teaks, follow the textbook. But is your lesson effective? That's what it boils down to. And the idea that you can have all these people, because there's a shortage, anyone can teach in the classroom, that bothers me. It leaves it open for a lot of things. Something bad could always happen in the classroom. Not that I like to think about those things, but it can happen.
Specifically, my aunt, she's a teacher up in San Antonio, and from what she said, her district has been practically wiped out. Like, they started the year with around 400, 500 students, and they had to merge schools because numbers were dropping so low. And they were losing their teachers. She was actually retired for about 2 or 3 years. She had to go back to teaching because there was just no one there. No one wanted to teach.
Was there a particular reason as to why the students just up and left?
Schools. Everyone's going to charter schools.
Charter schools. Yeah. I'm gonna come out and say this when it comes to public schools. You get what you pay for in your tax dollars. While generally I understand public schools are extremely important, but if you want to get a decent education to where you're not bound by the state as much, charter schools are where it's going to be at. And if the state is going to offer vouchers for those students, for those parents, to have a choice to either send them to a charter school or a public school, then yeah. Because if anything, this should create competition between charter schools and public schools, to where we should stop focusing on standardized testing as a means, as a metric, determine whether if a school district is good or not, or if a school's good or not, or if a teacher's good or not. It should be based around the education the student is receiving. And if students are receiving a proper education at a charter school, then so be it. Me personally, I don't want my daughter, when she's old enough to go to a public school, if I have to go into debt to send her to a private school, so be it. Because as someone who's worked in public schools, and I know exactly how teachers are, Either their hands are tied, or you have teachers that just don't care. They're just there for a paycheck. That's the public school system in an essence. You have teachers there that are just there for a paycheck. You have really effective and good teachers who are tied up by politics. And then you also have teachers there who believe that this is their personal, and I hate to say and use this word, it's their personal a harem.
Yeah.
And I don't, and not that those things can happen in a charter school, but the charter school at least has, what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability. Because school districts don't have, like public school districts don't have accountability. Case in point, at the previous school district that I worked at, there was a teacher there. She was having a relationship with students for the last 5 or 6 years that she was working there. Nobody knew. Or I should say, people knew and people reported, but the district didn't report anything to the authorities. That's a problem for me. You know.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it, is like I worked alongside this person, this woman. I worked alongside her. We had duty together. I would see her in the hallway. She would always say good morning to me. Like, I think effectively we had a pretty cordial relationship at work. Little did I know what was going on behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And so just because of that, you know, and the other thing is too, teachers unions, you know, or associations as they're called here in the state of Texas. They have a way of protecting those useless teachers by either moving them from one school to another, or, you know, just I don't know what happened there, lack of accountability. And it bothers me. And like I said, it sucks because you have really good teachers, but again, they're bound by politics.
Yeah.
And there's just too many terrible teachers. And now with districts of innovation, that just increases the numbers of horrible teachers. You know. So and like I said, it really just comes down to the local politics. It comes to local politics.
Yeah, you know, that's San Antonio. San Antonio in itself is a special kind of place.
Yeah, from my understanding, San Antonio is on its way of becoming Austin.
Yeah, very much so.
You know, that's a shame. I really do like the city of San Antonio. There's a lot of history there, a lot of culture, and the fact that it's going that way, you know. And then, of course, with the influx of people from California and New York coming here as refugees from their state. I have a student. She's from California, and I'm always knocking California during my lessons all the time, and she always laughs. And she always says, like, "What's so great about Texas?" I don't know. Your parents are here. Why don't you ask them?
Well, you know,
Hey, that's an honest question.
And she just looks at me like, "Mr. C, like, really?" I said, "Yes, really. Ask your parents why you're here. If you like Cali so much, all right. If you like your, you know, needles and poop on the ground and whatnot, by all means."
Funny that you mentioned Austin. When, you know, I was a kid growing up, Austin was such a beautiful place. I loved going there and visiting with the family. But recently, my sister started going to school there. And, man, Austin is it's nothing at all what it used to be.
Yeah, man.
When you have homeless people living in walking distance from a girl-specific dorm room,
Oh, I can only imagine.
what's going on? That's Yeah.
And from my understanding, Austin is like they had downsized their police force, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they have. They very much have.
I mean, I guess it could be. I guess it could be worse though. It could be. What is it? I think Maryland. It's either Maryland or. I think it's Maryland. Maryland is not going to respond to crimes that are happening.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is not responding to situations that are happening right then and there.
From 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah,
Ain't that something?
It's.
Ain't that something?
This is why well, I can't say it on stream. Never mind.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, elections have consequences.
Nope, you are correct. You are absolutely. What do you actually no? Hang on, wait. What do you mean elections have consequences? No, they don't.
Elections.
No way.
Elections
I don't believe
have
that.
consequences. All
Nah,
right?
I don't believe that at all. It's not like we haven't been living in it for the last, 4 years.
Yeah. God forbid we're in the middle of a housing crisis. What's that? We're in the middle of a housing crisis. God forbid there's a shortage of houses. Wait, there's a shortage of houses. What's the price of eggs at? Oh God.
Where's the price of milk? Oh boy. Oh boy, howdy, as Kramer would say.
Inflation is here to stay, guys, and it's a good thing. Just remember that.
I just have to sigh at that because, and the people that are complaining about it are some of the people that voted for it. And it's just like, you have no room to complain. You did this. You voted for it.
Hey,
you made this bed. Now you gotta lie in it.
Tony, Orange Man is clearly bad. Okay. Mean tweets were hurting people's feelings. And, we have to accept that people's feelings were hurt from Orange Man's tweets.
Since when did sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me stop being relevant? That's the honest question.
When everybody started receiving a trophy, thanks to my generation. So, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Some people have tried calling. What is it? The kids born in the years of 2002 to 2005. You know what they started trying to call us?
Oh God, what?
Zillennials.
I've heard that term. I've heard the term. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, but also too, I identify. I mean, even though I am a millennial, and I will admit that, as much as I hate to say it, but I closely identify. I mean, I feel closer to Generation X than I do my own generation.
Oh, Generation X is before millennial.
Yes.
Yep.
Or okay.
That would be my parents.
That'd be my parents too. My parents are Gen X.
That would be my parents as well.
So as a millennial, I identify more with Gen X than I actually do, and what generation Gen Z, the Zoomers.
I identify more with the generation that was back in the 17 and 1800s.
I identify with none of the generations. I don't want to be. I want to be associated with anything you people are doing.
I'm sorry, but
Here.
Clearly, it sounds like you wish to be identified as an attack helicopter.
Dude, I already identify as an attack helicopter. I had a so I've been going to, or I went to Sam Houston State for criminal justice.
Okay.
And every single day I had people tearing me down because I was studying criminal justice. But that's not the point I was making. I got approached by a person to ask me what my pronouns were, and I was trying to get to class or something, so I just kept like, oh, not interested in having a conversation right now. I'm just trying to get to class. And it's like, oh, so you don't care about my pronouns, and you don't care about who I am and what I choose to identify as. Like, hey, you want to know my pronouns? I am go away.
There you go. There you go.
Identify as.
Your Royal Highness. Thank you. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautifully executed, my good sir.
Golf
claps. Golf claps. Beautifully executed.
Like when it comes down to that stuff, it's just like, do you honestly feel like you're really important enough to where like you have to have a separate set of pronouns or a separate set of words to self-identify as something else? Like, do you really think you're that important? The level of narcissism that just espouses from that,
It's just ridiculous.
It's very redonkulous.
I'm not going to go as far as saying that those individuals have some type of mental disorder or anything like that. I am going to say that these individuals it seems like an extreme level of narcissism. Like you want to be seen. You want to be, what's the word? Acknowledge that you exist. And it's like, we see you. Yeah, you're a person. Whatever.
You're hard to miss. The radioactive hair is alerting.
and it's like,
the bound music has begun to start with the low hum.
Right. What is this? What's going on here? What is that? Oh, there's an abandoned house here. Let's go inside of it. Interior junk. Yeah, it's just an extreme level of narcissism, and I just can't. I can't sign on to that.
You cannot fathom to it.
I can't. I'll be nice. I'll be respectful, and I'll say, "Hey guys," or "What's up, you?" but
go ahead.
No, I mean I've had students at the previous high school that I worked at that had pronouns and they identified as this, that, or the other, and I would use neutral words. But the state of Texas clearly tells teachers like you only refer to them as what's on their birth certificate. If their birth certificate says this, then that's how you identify them as.
See, I didn't know that.
Yep. Abbott passed that one, so that's a good thing. If the teacher decides to do so, they have the option of doing so, but you're not compelled to do it if it's not changed on the birth certificate. And when a student is registered for a school in a school district, they have to bring their birth certificate. That's part of the registration process.
Yeah.
So if that information is not present or not changed or whatever, yeah, teacher's not compelled to do that. They don't have to.
Oh. No, go ahead. I'll say after.
No. Well, gentlemen, this has been an enjoyable conversation, but unfortunately, I may have to bid you adieu here.
Ah, that's fine, buddy.
Understandable.
I ought to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work.
Oof.
Oh, sweet word.
Man. What kind of work do you do, bud?
I work in a security for a security company.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do a bit of mostly security cameras and alarm systems, but also some private security.
What level of security? Like, can you carry?
I can carry, yes.
Nice. That's going to take you far too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of security firms would want you to have that.
I am just absolutely just curious to know, do you carry?
Yeah.
Why not? This is Texas, man.
I'm just curious to know as well at the same time what type you got there. What's your big iron?
Sadly, because of how the company is structured, I'm only allowed to carry a... Oh, shoot. My brain's not working right now.
Oh.
Oh, good.
I'm only allowed to carry a 9 mil, sadly.
I mean, that's not.
And I'm hey, plethora of ammo, and it does get the job done when you need it to.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you mean. You wouldn't mind having either a 40 or a 45.
Yeah, but I'm not as I'm not very good with handguns. I've had broken both of my wrists, so I have severe arthritis, so I'm not very good at aiming with a handgun. But with a rifle, I am much, much better.
Oh, 100%. And if anything, either you'd be carrying either AR platform or even if carrying a defense, home defense shotgun.
Mhm.
You know, it's been a hot minute since me and you have talked.
I know, I probably haven't seen you since,
High school.
yeah, honestly, before graduation.
Oh yeah.
What
How
have
you
you been up?
been? Been good. I actually work back at Deer Park. So
Oh, seriously, you stayed in your park?
I am an instructional editor.
Nice.
So I deal with the children as well. So I'm in the same boat as our wonderful teacher here was and is.
You know, you can call me your benevolent overlord.
You know, I was about to say glorious leader, believe it or not.
That too. That too.
I was thinking that one funny teacher I had in high school, but yeah, I can subscribe to that.
Well,
That's true.
I'm glad you popped in, man. I'm really happy, and you know, congratulations again.
Agreed.
You know, I'm very happy for you. Have you decided on a date yet?
Not quite. I mean, honestly, it's been barely 24 hours since that happened.
Okay, gotcha.
We're thinking sometime either late December, early November.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Oh,
man. We want as short of an engagement as we possibly can.
Oh,
Am I hearing some wonderful news?
oh yeah.
No, nothing like that.
No, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. All right. He doesn't do that. All right. He's a good kid.
How
How dare you imply such a thing? How dare you, sir? How dare you? I'm offended for him.
No,
I'm deeply offended
for him.
for him. You don't have to. Nope. You don't have to say anything at all. I will speak for you as the white knight that I am, sir. All right.
the Mexican man finally has white knight.
I've always been white. I just realized that, so I'm very happy with that. All right. All these years I've been called a white supremacist. I've now just accepted it. So, all right. YouTube, it's just a joke. YouTube, it's just a joke. I'm not really a white supremacist. I just don't like certain brown people. All right. I mean, that wasn't supposed to come out that way.
I mean, last name and you just get a get out of break with a free card.
I know, right? I'm an ethnic minority. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, YouTube was about ready to just strike your channel, but now they're settling down a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because now they're worried.
I'm a handicapped refugee, with a gimpy leg, and I'm cross-eyed, and I have all various types of mental disorders running through my head right now.
Want to run for Congress?
ADD, APC, 1, 2, 3. I got them all.
And I plan on running for office one day. Oh man!
Gonna do that. Someone's just gonna pull up a list of your streams. Like, I humbly retract my candidate.
That was a different time. I am now a more
I've grown since then. It's only been 2 years. Look, I've taken some time out. All right, I've searched my soul.
I've done soul searching.
Yeah.
I've done some soul searching.
Yeah.
as a single mother of one, I can say I have game.
I identify as a single mother of one. There you go. That's what it is. That'll win. That'll win hearts and minds. That will
That's
win.
got my vote.
5, even though they're married and only have one kid.
Oh man.
Hey, you got my vote.
You got mine too.
Oh, awesome. That's great. Now I just need 73 million or so more. I'm gold. Oh man. Well, I don't want to keep you, man. I don't want to keep you.
I'm trying to pop in as many streams as I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, you can't make them all. And I appreciate you coming by. And if you see me on Discord, sometimes I load it up. So, but yeah, you can always pop in, send me a DM or whatever. It's called great, man.
Well, y'all have fun. I shall see y'all later.
Yep. Have a good
Have
one,
a good
man.
night, man.
Oh, that was great.
That was really great. Like me and him, we used to be fifth grade childhood friends.
Oh, really?
And
I wasn't aware of this lore. This is new to me.
me and him, we had different, groups that we,
Of course.
grew apart too. So
That's usually how it goes.
also, I don't know if you know this. We have a battery now.
What do you mean we have a battery?
We have a battery.
Wait, when did we get a battery?
Today.
Oh, of course.
Let's just say, well, have you not seen the memes?
I haven't. I haven't popped into the Discord to take a look at the memes yet.
Oh, my boy, my man, you need to look today or yesterday now, and look at Actually, you know what? I'll copy it and I'll send it to you, just so you understand.
I was actually kind of shocked that I made that shot the other day, the one that I posted.
Oh yeah, no, like, good shot, man.
I had no, like, that is the second time that's happened. I didn't even think I was gonna hit him. I honestly thought I didn't even think I was gonna hit him. That was like, holy crap, dude.
Knock that flag down. Make sure it don't get back up.
And I thought it's actually really funny. I was going through that recording. I was going through the recording, and my tags were bugging, and so
Yeah, for Mr. LAB.
yeah, and then Scrapper is yelling like, "Who's first LAB? That's hilarious!"
First. But then you just hear almost every other officer, "Who's first LAB?" And then we're like, "Nah, he's okay. He's one of us.
It's Jason. It's Jason.
It's Jason. It's Jason."
I think Dope was just like, it's Jason. And I think who's the other one who was saying like, "Oh, we'll fix it later." He's the guy with the accent.
AG.
AG, yes, AG.
Your company captain.
Look, all I know is Scrapper, Dope, Mullins when he's around. I don't even think Mullins is still around or not. I haven't seen Mullins.
Oh, Mullins is around. He's actually a second lieutenant now.
Did he get promoted today? Who got promoted
Oh
today?
no. Ooh, wow. No one was promoted.
I thought I saw my phone went off with a notification saying that there was like a promotion or something.
Oh no, it was the event.
Oh, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Was today a pub stomp or was today drills?
Today was pub stomp and recruiting. But before that, it was like the first 10, 15 minutes was, let's hit 400. And majority of us did.
Oh, who hit 420? Wasn't somebody hit 420?
That was dope.
That was Dope?
Dope hit 423.
Nice.
And then there's me over here who been doing it before they showed up and started doing it. Actually, you know what? I will send it to you right now just for you to see this shot.
Okay.
I cannot make this up. I had to take a screenshot. It annoyed the fire out of me that I kept missing for trying to hit 400. But this is the piece de resistance. Also, Russian, he's back,
Oh, really?
and he is actually in charge of our battery.
Nice.
So it's actually very. I'm happy he's back because he's one of those guys that I really didn't want to lose as a friend.
Yeah.
Just fade to memory and such.
Any word from the other company that was, or not the other company, the other regiment that was formed with what's his name?
Lonely.
Yes. Tumadre. No, Tumadre.
Yeah, well, he's also known as Lonely, but yeah, Tumadre. They're doing fine.
Because they're still with
doing
archers, right? They're still part of archers.
Yeah, they're a skirmish regiment.
Have their numbers increased any?
So if I'm not mistaken, they bring a max of at times they bring almost a max of 10.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
that's pretty good.
Their first event out was a max of 14, 15.
Okay.
But in total, they got they got quite a few people for their unit. So,
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad that they're doing all right.
I'm glad they are too.
All right, let me see. Let me see the picture you sent me.
The
Bullseye.
2 pictures. Bullseye, and look at that number.
399.
Yeah, that actually annoyed the fire out of me. I'm like,
399.
I've been trying to hit 400 that entire time, and I was doing this at dark.
Are you using the Enfield? Which one are you using?
I was using the Mississippi. Mississippi is good for that.
Yeah, for those long range shots.
Mm-hmm. And then that picture above it, the meme that Scrapper made. One more battery, one more time. I'm actually trying to get Russian one of his first recruits, which is one of my old first lieutenants from 2nd U.S. Armored.
Man, I feel sorry that didn't work out for you, man.
It is what it is. I recognized it's, and Scrapper even told me it's not going to be easy. But you know what you're getting yourself into. I'm like, yes, I do. And granted, I was happy that it survived as long as it did. But it's unfortunate that it died.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got too busy to where I could actually play anything. And then my streams might actually start to slow down. Since we're coming up to Star.
Yeah.
Me streaming and then me showing up on the weekends might be affected. Because
it happens.
I'm gonna end up being I'm finding myself being mentally exhausted at the end of the day.
To be frank, in our line of work, that's to be expected.
It's absolutely crazy. That it is happening like that. It bugs the hell out of me. Nope. And what do you call it? That's weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. It
is.
I don't want to be tired at the end of the day, but I am just tired at the end of the day. And I think it bugs the hell out of me because I'm so tired at the end of the day. I was talking to my wife about that, and I was just telling her I don't know what's going on with the profession in general, but I know for me, I am just mentally drained, and it's bothering me. Because when I came, when I wanted, I mean, I wanted to come back, so I understand like what I chose to do. But the other thing is too, I wasn't expecting this issue.
I think one of my teacher friends, who works at PISD, he actually explained it very well to me that in our profession as educators and what we do, or I'll actually start it off this way. In certain professions, you have certain types of exhaustion, and you have multiple different types of exhaustion on top of that. Say, for instance, with say doing a lot of blue collar work, you are going to be mentally and physically exhausted with a lot of the stuff that you do. I can't really say for another white collar, but sometimes you could be emotionally and mentally exhausted as well. But for teaching and for educating as we do, it is quite frankly the one of the very few that you will experience all three simultaneously. Where you will be emotionally exhausted from the students when they trust you enough, they start unloading a lot onto you.
Oh God, yeah.
Where mentally exhausted because we are tired at the end of the day, helping them make sure they get that education that they so need, that they understand what's next in the world, and then also physically exhausted to where you move around the classroom, you're moving around the school, you're watching over the students in the lunchroom. You have to, in my case, at certain points, you have to break up a fight.
Yeah.
So teaching and educating is one of the few professions where you will experience all three types of exhaustion, and it will be turned up to the max. So I get where you're coming from with it and why you are so exhausted as you are, because I mean, nowadays it's the way of how we have to handle it, and that's why we always have each other in terms of as educators to understand each other and know that's what we each go through, that we all help share the load.
Yeah. But the other thing is too, and this is what I've noticed about the profession as well. There is a severe disconnect between you and the administration.
Oh, 100%.
And not to mention, depending on your team, you can be on an island. You can definitely be on an island, and that's the draining, because you're and that's the worst part about it. And I feel sorry for those teachers, because I know that there's some teachers out there, and there are some teachers that I work with. They're part of their department, but they're all alone in their department, and that sucks. That sucks.
It does.
And I man, it's one of those things where it's just like, damn, man.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Tell me what the trial is. I've been before we jump on, before I kind of like want to jump back on into that other subject matter. Did you see that the devs of Foxhole announced another? They got a Foxhole update 56 preview on March
Preview, you say?
On March 19th, which is Tuesday next week. They're gonna have a live stream discussing the up and coming update.
I could imagine it being air is
Man,
what they're bringing in.
I don't know. I like just going into the subreddit and looking at what people are talking about. People really want some serious quality of life stuff. Not to mention to make Logi a lot simpler for a lot of people, and that I can understand.
Well, that yeah. But what do these people mean by quality of life stuff?
And see, that's the thing. I don't know. They just say that there's a lot of quality of life things missing from the game, and
Well, ain't that, so undoubtedly vague?
yeah, and for me, like when someone mentions quality of life, they generally mean making the game easier. That's at least just my opinion. See, that's just my opinion. So they are we talking about like what do you call it?
Quality of life refers to feature aspects of game design that ensures the players have a smooth gameplay experience and do not get burnt out as fast.
So making the game easier.
Basically.
And look, and I understand Foxhole is one of those games where you need to have a commitment. Like I cannot play Foxhole right now as much as I want to. As much as I want to jump into the game, I need to sit down for hours.
Same with War of Raids when you're doing, constant regiment stuff.
Right. Same thing. I want to be more involved in the regiment, but I just don't have the time to do so. I know that some of them are playing Hell Let Loose.
Hell Let Loose, Phasmophobia, Helldivers. That is a fun game.
Helldivers. I want to get into Helldivers. I just can't afford it right now.
I kid you not. Democracy needs you, brother.
I blew a lot of my money getting the 4 games that I got now.
For democracy.
For democracy.
We must fight.
I love it. I love it. I love all of the content that's coming out.
One of our former members who's in First SEOR now, he literally said, "Hey, Dornan, guess what?" I'm like, "Hmm?" And he's like, do you know about Helldivers? And I'm like, I've heard the name. And he's like, well, what if I was to tell you it was the most American game you could ever play?
That's funny.
Because, he's from the Netherlands. And sometimes we are perceived as that when you hear about Helldivers. But I play the game. I love the game. It reminds me a lot of just a mixture of like Halo, Star Wars, Warhammer 40K, Space Troopers or Starship Troopers, and Terminator.
Nice.
Like it's a lot of fun. And the thing is, they're actually about to probably start adding in a 4th or a 3rd entity in the whole play of the field.
Nice.
They're actually also about to add vehicles like APCs, scout vehicles, etc. And I think a bigger mech.
Oh, cool.
Whenever the first the update about the mechs and all that, when that was coming out, I'm over here like, if they're giving us the mech, what in God's name are we having to fight to have to use a mech?
I'm what do you call it? Oh, that's cool. I can't afford it, you bastard. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. So the game itself, it looks awesome. I love that kind of stuff. The content that's been popping up on my YouTube feed has just been absolutely hilarious.
Sweet liberty, my life.
I think there was like a YouTube short that I saw the other day where this guy was coming in and he was talking about like, yeah, I got 7 kids and a wife at home. Like you can probably hear them right now, and so we got to hurry up and get this done. And the guy who's like recording, he's like, "Don't worry, brother. This is for democracy. This we will be in and out in no time." And so they're playing. The guy dies, and the guy who's recording is jumping around trying to avoid being eaten by the insectoid or the tyranids looking things.
The Terminids,
Yeah, the Terminids. Um, he's like, Pelican One, I need you. Pelican One, where are you? He's like dodging all of the acid spit left and right until finally he dodges in, and the guy says, "All right, man, look, I want you to go find my wife back on Earth, marry her, and make love to her, and take care of my 7 kids." I was like, dude, this is hilarious. This is the best. This is the best.
Oh, tonight, me and 2 of the other guys from the regiment, we were all playing Helldivers, and we were fighting against the bugs, and we were trying to get this silo up and running, but the bugs just kept coming, and they had this this one that could just spout, this orange acid-like stuff at you,
Okay.
which annoyed the fire out of us. And they would come in droves. Like, you want to talk about how you need to basically set the place up like Fort Knox, where they can't even get in. Me and them, we all had mortar turrets, and we were placing them down, and that wasn't even enough.
Oh.
So one of the sergeant major of our group who was playing with us, I was running over, dodging, bobbing, weaving, and literally he like right next to me. I see one of his stratagems, which is the things you call in to either have an airstrike or drop down a sentry or a supply bag, etc. And he had like an artillery strike right down on my position.
Danger close.
And I didn't realize it. And all 5 of my limbs, which were both my arms, all 6, both my arms, both my legs, my torso, and my head were all broken.
That's funny.
And I died.
That is absolutely hilarious.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get out. Why are all my limbs broken?
I can't even feel my legs.
What just happened? But whenever you get the chance, do get the game. It's a lot of fun.
I do plan probably like maybe this summer. Unfortunately, like the spring sale that's going on right now is only going to be till the 22nd. I don't get paid until the 30th, so I'll probably have to wait till the summer.
I actually have a question for you.
Yeah,
if you don't
go for
mind me
it.
asking. Are you paid bi-weekly or once a month?
I get paid the 15th and 30th of every month, so I guess it's bi-weekly.
Lucky.
Yeah, what Deer Park pays once a month?
They pay once a month.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I remember.
And
I actually liked the once a month thing.
Well, with my type of income coming in, it's not easy to try and make it last a month.
Like my district right now, I cannot stand my district the way I get paid, because generally what I'm used to getting paid is on the 15th and 30th. Like that's if I'm supposed to get paid on the 15th, I get paid on the 15th, or if I have early direct deposit, you can get paid a day earlier. All right.
That's what I have since I'm with the Gulf Coast.
So, my district, what they like to do around the holidays is they will prefer to have your paycheck show up before you go on break, or before, So, like, for instance, payday was the 15th, which is tomorrow. I got paid on Friday last week. So that means I have to stretch my paycheck to last almost 3 weeks when it's supposed to last me 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And so I hate it, and I'm just like, could any other district that I've worked at has never had this issue before. Why is it? What's so special about this district, and why is it choosing to do so? This is rather annoying that this has to, that, this is going down like this. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
What was I gonna say? Oh no, not that. There you go. Basics. I already got that. Okay. Refinement. Oh, this one. Buy. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and buy this one. But yeah, so I actually wanted to talk to you earlier. So how are you taking this whole like Daily Wire thing nonsense? Like what we were talking about earlier.
I feel they're quite misinformed and also not, and as I see it, quite frankly, also acting like petty school children, in my honest reaction, with thinking that their opinion's right and that, they're combating this and that, when in factuality, you are losing your base because you think you're trying to base it with all intellect, with all, intellectuals, when in fact, you're not. Because believe it or not, some of the best gamers you meet are some of the most intellectual people you'll meet. And quite frankly, I think they don't realize that because they're so set on this, gaming bad, gaming brings wokeness, when that's not the case.
I would have to agree, and I think the other thing is too that they don't take into account that, especially Walsh, and I think, and like I said, like he's such a Puritan. Now, don't get me wrong, like there are some things that I agree with Walsh on.
Same.
But in terms
his
of
takes, anime and that, yeah.
Anime, but not so much anime. I would have to say just in culture in general.
That, yeah, fair.
Because the thing is that if conservatives, all right, if the right wants young people to get in, this idea of trying to attract these Andrew Tate red pillars, Michael Knowles going to the to that podcast, which what is it called, the whatever podcast? No, the
Which one are you talking about?
The one where they're constantly like talking down to women.
See, the thing is, there's like, so
Is it whatever?
I don't think it's whatever. I think you would think Fresh and Fit.
No,
But
not
they've been deposed,
not
so-
Fresh and Fit. No,
But
Knowles has made like maybe 2 separate appearances on this particular podcast, because this is the one where he pissed off one of the girls because he had made a comment about trans individuals, and this upset.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember the one. But actually, believe it or not, I actually saw this story. One of the girls that was on this one podcast, that I'd honestly say this is one of the more tolerable men running the podcast, the type of podcast he ran, where him and he'd have his guest next to him on his left, but then the rest of the girls are in front of him and all that. Like I said, one of the more tolerable ones, because granted, he didn't talk down to the women, but he also spoke, genuine facts of like, what you're doing, is wrong. the wrong way of going about things. But this one girl that was on the podcast where she was like saying, where originally she was like, oh, my dream is, one of my biggest dreams, or one of my biggest dreams is to cheat on my boyfriend or cheat on my husband, this and that. Which a lot of people still say, this is probably a lot of the people who are non-faithful in terms of belief in Christ and such. She finally made a big 180 in her life and started following Christ.
Well, that's good for her. That's good.
Indeed. And she even came out talking about her story, how she sold her body to, the hub, all that, and, all that going on. And she met her now partner, who is a very staunch Christian, who is very deep in his faith, that God clearly worked in that relationship.
Right.
Which she finally came to know, because she even admits she was a pastor's kid, which as I've come to know as well, a lot of pastor kids are
a little wild.
Sometimes a lot of the pastor kids are very wild.
Yeah. I can see that.
But she admitted that she admitted that what she was doing was wrong, and that now she's turned her life over to Christ, and well, I'm over here like, good for her.
That's good for her. And I was right. It is the Whatever podcast. It was it was the Whatever podcast.
Is it hosted by that one skinny dude?
Yeah.
That's the one that I'm like, okay, this one I can actually somewhat tolerate, because he's not, being like these jugheads over here.
Yeah, I can't get into the podcast. Like, I tried to watch a couple of episodes and I was just like, whatever.
Well, I mean, I only see clips, but it's the one that I can actually properly tolerate, unlike, Fresh and Fit or some of the other ones like Fresh and Fit, which I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah. I got you on that one. What was it? The idea. Okay, and I think this is what's bugs me the most is that. All right, I'm gonna put this right here. How can I put this? What bugs me the most about what Matt Walsh is saying is this: that what was it? He had that hot take on violent video games and saying that violent video games do not make individuals violent. That's an individual thing. But it's something that needs to be talked about. And me personally, I'm just like, well, what do you want to talk about? Like, what
is it you want to bring up?
Yeah, it's just like, are you wanting to say that they do?
Are you like, well, come on, share with the class,
right? And I didn't know I could do that with that. All right, cool. That's interesting. But anyways, Walsh's takes on that kind of stuff, like if they really want to bring in younger individuals, because the idea of like kind of getting individuals who listen to the Whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit talking about these alpha male Andrew Tate kind of individuals, that's not going to get us anywhere. That's not going to get the right or conservative party to be more interesting
or appealing
well to young people. All right, and the thing is, and stop me if I'm wrong here. All right, outside of the niche animes that are out there, a majority of anime deals with I would say right wing talking points. Sense of strong family bonds, friendships, hard work, love, those kinds of things.
No, I 100% agree with that. I mean,
there are a lot of
Shonen,
yeah.
Shonen proves that through and through, hand in hand.
Absolutely. So I'm sitting here thinking like you're completely ignoring that. You're completely ignoring the idea here is that okay, you don't have to like it, fine, whatever. All right. But here's the thing though. You're completely excluding it though.
Mm-hmm.
You're completely excluding the fact that and you're not willing to, and I hate to use this word, you're not willing to educate yourself on the fact that there are a lot of aspects to anime and even some video games that coincide with the right.
I mean, okay. Allow me to bring into an example here.
Go for it.
Naruto.
Sure.
One of the big three. Naruto himself he works his butt off getting to where he is to learn how to control the power he has been bestowed, along with also, learning this new sense of responsibility that he then will have when he wants to become Hokage, become the leader of his village, have a sense of duty, a purpose, leadership, strong leadership, something that we kind of need.
Right.
But how I see it and how it always comes off to me as, like you're saying, they don't want to educate themselves on it, but I feel like they're too blind in their idealistic viewpoint to actually want to do that, because they see it as something as more of children, if anything, like, saying animes for kids and all that, when I'm gonna be frank, there is a lot of anime out there that is not meant for kids.
Oh yeah, no.
Believe it or not, majority anime isn't meant for kids.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. There are some genres specific that are just not meant for kids, and that's fine.
Your example earlier, Tanya, the saga of Tanya.
Right.
Another one for me would be Hellsing Ultimate.
Right. Because there's just some subject matter that you need to be mature to be able to handle.
100%.
And Hellsing is one of them. Attack on Titan is another one that has to deal. That has to deal with race. Racial purity, xenophobia, genocide. Those are all things that
it also deals with the us against them mentality as well,
right?
Which is a very important thing.
It's extremely important.
And we actually just got through this past week with Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, 100%. Love the movie. The kids loved it.
That's a great movie. I would purposely stop on like suspense points.
Oh, yeah.
And it would drive my kids crazy. When I taught geography, it would just drive them absolutely batty that I would become like I would pre-watch it so I knew exactly where all the stopping points were, and so I would purposely do that just to annoy the kids and also bring some brevity to something as hardcore as this,
yeah. And there are even other media, in a sense, the Star Wars, for example, The Fall of the Jedi. It's a quote unquote us versus them mentality. It is that they are traitors. They need to be dealt with as such. innocent lives are taken, and it's a very important subject matter that I also feel like they wouldn't even want to look at either, because they feel, oh, Star Wars is beneath, looking into in terms of that stuff, in terms of George Lucas's stuff, because George Lucas actually has some very powerful messages with, the original trilogy, the prequels. It's just a lot of people overlooked it.
Right. I you hit the nail on the head there. I think that's what really it boils down to, because and this goes back to like what I was saying, that the idea here is this. Okay. We have a company, all right, with some individuals who concern themselves with the culture. All right. But ultimately don't want to do anything about it or get themselves invested in culture. And they don't understand that gaming is part and parcel of culture. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're more concerned about, like, oh, how are we going to get more young people on the right? Why does the left appeal to young people? And then people will say, well, the left appeals to young people because there's very childlike this and that. Okay, sure. We can agree to disagree on that. But what are young kids watching? What are young kids doing? And I'm not saying propagandize this stuff. I would hate for
no. Heavens no.
Because then you'll turn a lot of people away from the medium.
Oh, 100%.
But look at what young people are into and use it, and just say, like, hey, look, do you guys like the idea of having a family? You do? Great. Just like in the animes that you watch or in the comics that you like. Oh, you guys want to own your own house? Really? Just like in the animes that you watch. Cool. Let me explain something to you about what the right wing of politics has to deal with. We believe in smaller government. We believe in this. We believe in that. We're trying to make sure that everyone has this idea of what you want life to be, or what you picture life in those animes. You can have it for yourself, but you have to fight for it. And this is what right wing politics is about. You could do that, and it would probably benefit. It'd probably benefit them a whole bunch. They just choose not to do it.
100%. Again, like I said, it's that I feel they're too blinded in their their idealistic viewpoint, that they just see, that media, that form of media, as woke, bad. Don't touch it. No need to even worry about it. It's childish. It's, below what we need to worry about. We need intellectuals, which, granted, yes, you need intellectuals. However, like I said, a lot of people that watch the anime, that play video games, are intellectuals. They just overlook it.
They should, and I guess, and it just bothers me so much. It bothers me so much that they completely ignore that. And you have other people who are like, was it George Alexopoulos? I don't know if you've ever seen any of his cartoons, like his political cartoons that he posts. He's very big on that. Like he considered himself a conservative. I think, and he's usually on Tim Pool's podcast sometimes. And he's just like, conservatives are always going to lose because they keep on forgetting that young people like this, young people like that, and they don't want to get involved. They don't want to take into consideration those things. And he's right. He's absolutely right. And I think that what bugs me is, like, you have the potential to really get something good here, but you just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a buffoon.
I mean, for me, how I, where how I, lean that way in terms of political ideology into, small government, this and that, this and that, this and that. It wasn't, and I'm saying this as my personal experience, is that it wasn't because of anime. It wasn't because of video games. It's because I had such a love for history, and that my papaw, my mom's dad, had such a love for history that me and him would just talk for hours. Me and him would talk hours on the Civil War, hours on World War II, hours on World War One. We just talk so much about so many things in history that I just kept looking at history and kept looking at, certain things nowadays, looking at the media, looking at the news, looking at, the historical evidence I see of it as well from, in as recent as the 20th century. I'm like, and I would also kind of say it's how I grew up too. I mean, my parents, they really never considered themselves, quote unquote political, because they really never wanted to get involved with politics.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I was also kind of the same way. But I feel like there is somewhat of a sense, and you can, it's kind of how I feel, like there's kind of a sense of duty to explain people why I'm in this way of belief and, ideology, so that we could have a discourse conversation, that we can actually talk about it, not, have a shouting match.
Right.
Which I think a lot of young people my age forget to do, is actually have a civil discourse. They get into shouting matches. Which, I mean, even people my parents' ages too. I mean, look at the Museum of History. I mean, Congress.
Oh God, yeah.
With what they do. Granted, I mean, it's just how I feel about it. It's like, it's just how I feel about it with it, really, is that, that's how I came to have my belief in what I believe ideology wise.
And and that's great. For me, and like when I was teaching y'all, I told y'all, like, man, I was a staunch, hardcore leftist. I was serious about it. Karl Marx, Manifesto, all that stuff. I was very much uh, deep into that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think, what was it? It was probably around the time of I think as I started getting a job, which is usually when it happens, right?
Right.
Here we go. That's usually how it happens. That you have you have this idea, like, man, I really don't want to share shit with other people. I worked hard for what I have. Why do I have to do that?
Which, yeah, that's the one thing I like. Honestly, I'm willing to now tell people, is like, if they believe in socialism and all that, it's like, so you believe that my hard-earned cash that I worked tooth and nail and broke bone for my family could be split amongst equally with all of you? No. No. You earn your money your way. I'm earning it my way to support my family.
There you go. Oh man. So let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and log off for the night.
I was about to say, it's like, it's a little late.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me. All right, to anybody who watches the stream, sorry for the political conversation, but it got really good, and I got to talk to a couple of people that I rarely get to talk to anymore. So see y'all. What's tomorrow? Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. What time is our event tomorrow? 6:30 or 7?
Oh, we don't have an event tomorrow.
Oh, we don't.
No, it's on Saturday though.
Okay, so I'll probably live stream the event on Saturday then and Sunday if I can make it to
Oh,
both.
yay.
Hopefully I can make it to both.
You'll be live streaming me leading. Oh, great.
Oh, that's right. You are going to be leading.
I will be leading on Saturday. Yes.
Woo!
Oh no.
Is it the entire company, the entire regiment?
I'll be leading the entire regiment for one battle.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, I'm gonna log off here. All right, see you later, guys.